Buenos días. Me llamo Lori y sirvo agradecido como un miembro del equipo de artes de adoración. My name is Lori and I serve gratefully as a member of the worship arts team. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Bienvenido a todos en nuestro campus de la Iglesia Virtual. Welcome to everyone on our online church campus. Hola. Bienvenido a todos en nuestro campus de la Iglesia Avenida Alluvial. Welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Avenue church campus. Hola. Somos una congregación en muchos lugares. We are one congregation in many places. This morning, we honor the native land that our church was built upon. We acknowledge that our Alluvial Avenue Church campus sits within the traditional homeland of the Yoket and Mono peoples. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. We welcome you no matter your disabilities, your neurodiversity, the amount of money in your bank account, or your level of education. You are welcome with or without documentation, sin o con papeles. Ningún ser humano es ilegal en esta iglesia. No human being is illegal in this church. As Unitarian Universalists, we not only open our doors to people of all sexual orientations and gender identities, we value diversity of sexuality and gender and see it as a spiritual gift. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. And by the way, for those of you having trouble hearing sung lyrics in the Alluvial Sanctuary, there are hearing-assisted devices available at the sound booth. And the audio feed to the devices has been set so that vocalists will be prominent in the mix. And yet another advertisement for Chalice Circles, which are starting the end of this month. It's been postponed so that everyone can participate. Why do I keep saying join? Because it's been such an inspirational and meaningful experience for me personally, and I think for the people in my group. I started as someone new, and it's really hard to get to know people just showing up in the worship service and then going home or watching virtually. So by joining a Chalice Circle, you meet a small group of people who are interested in getting to know you and deepening their personal and spiritual lives. So if you want more information, see Patty at the welcome table if you're in the Alluvial campus, or the virtual campus, just type your interest in the chat box and Patty will follow up with you and let you know what's available. I hope to see you at one of these. Before our service begins, let's take a moment to safely greet one another at whichever sanctuary you find yourself in.
Okay, well, you got here before the important stuff anyway. Got here before the important stuff.
I can take my mask off, I forgot. Each day begins with a choice. We have the choice to harden our hearts or to soften them. We have the opportunity and the choice to close our minds or to open them to new ideas and new perspectives. We have the ability to weigh down our spirit or to let our spirit fly. Each day begins with a choice. Choose wisely.
One, two, three, four.
Good morning or evening, friends. Here's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. It's that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. The force of hatred has become the world's obsession, and it will if we let it destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If love and peace you treasure, then you'll hear me when I say if that love's in need of love today. Ooh, don't delay, send yours in right away. Oh, hate's going round, breaking many hearts. So stop it, please, before it's gone too far. Yeah. People, you know that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. 'Cause hate's going round, breaking many hearts. So stop it, please, before it's gone too far, gone too far. It's up to you, 'cause love is in need of love today. Oh, don't delay, send yours in right away. You know the hate's going round, hate's going round, breaking. Hate's tried to break my heart many times. Don't, you got to stop it, please, before you know that love is in need of love today. Oh, love's
Wow, that was an amazing performance. Good morning, buenos dias. I'm Floyd Sanchez, and I'm a member of our church's worship arts team. For those in our virtual campus today, if you have a candle or chalice, please bring it close, as we'll be lighting one in a moment. In our part of the world, I can't help but notice that with each passing year, we become more familiar with fire. I don't really remember fire being such a visceral part of my young life, but now fire has burned itself into how we perceive the seasonality of late summer and early autumn. My oldest daughter has essentially only known a calendar year with a fire season. I also know that part of the reason why we've come to know fire so abruptly and so violently is because we've suppressed fire for so long, that the extinction of the indigenous stewardry of our forests, and in that, the intimate human relationship with our highlands that flourished across eras and eons was severed. As we continue to encroach into these highlands, expecting them to play by our rules, we continue to get burned. As we continue to flood our atmosphere with carbon dioxide, we continue to parch our portion of our continent from the precipitation, rain and snow, that delivered lush, ancient forests that our generation will be the first to watch recede. In Unitarian Universalism, we've long been familiar with a different fire, a fire that illuminates our hearts and our path toward justice, justice amongst people and justice in our, with respect to our environment. Each week, we light a chalice, a fire that symbolizes our burning commitment to our 7 principles, one of which is the acknowledgement and respect for the interdependent web of existence of which we're only a part. In that spirit, I invite you to light a chalice at home. And Tim, would you light the chalice in our Alluvial Avenue sanctuary while those on virtual campus light their own chalice or candle? Let us rise now in body and spirit and join in singing an old favorite of many longtime church members, How Can I Keep From Singing? If you are unvaccinated in our Alluvial Avenue campus, please sing in the silence of your heart. Thank you.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My life goes on in endless song above earth's lamentations. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear its music ringing. It sounds an echo in my song. How can I keep from singing? While though the tempest loudly roars, I hear the truth it liveth. And though the shadows around me close, songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? In prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
I invite us to remain standing as we speak together the words of our church's covenant. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento y el servicio es su oración. Habitar juntos en paz buscar la verdad con libertad y servir a la humanidad juntos con el fin de que todas las almas puedan crecer en armonía con lo divino. Esto es lo que pactamos unos con otros. We affirm that love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. We strive to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. Please be seated. About our breath, Il-chi Lee, the popular South Korean spiritual teacher, says, breathing well means breathing more slowly and deeply. Relax, feel your breathing, and breathe comfortably. Once aware, it naturally becomes deeper and slower. And so, as our breath slows and as it naturally deepens, I invite us to take a breath, breathing in peace. And we hold for a moment. We breathe out love. And again, we breathe in peace. We hold the moment. We breathe out love. One last time together, breathing in that blessed peace. We hold it for a moment. We transform it into the power of love, and we breathe out love. As we continue breathing together in this, our sacred sanctuary, blessed by beating hearts, blessed by our intention to be together, even though we may be physically apart. We allow that breath to carry us back over the last 7 days. 7 days that truly were a gift because we were able to breathe into each and every one of them. Not everyone has been as lucky. And as we breathe and think back on that week that has been a question, how in the last week were you part of the world's love and not its hate? Our breath carries us together into that time in the service where we create the space to acknowledge the personal joys, sorrows, gratitudes, and concerns that we carried into this sanctuary or into the sanctuary of our homes. And if you are joining us on our virtual campus, this is the time to begin sharing in that comment box. When we share together, we are heard, we are seen, and we are known. And that is part of why we show up on Sunday. In our own sanctuary, some of us stopped at the small table at the entrance to the church and wrote down what's in our heart. George B. last night, Pat and I enjoyed an auction dinner hosted by the Mamas and the Tapas. Very good. Delivering a delicious and welcome opportunity to see church friends in person. Hannah is feeling, and Hannah, that was incredible. Like, wow. You embodied that song. Hannah is feeling grateful for her partner, Ian, her son, Jonah, and her bonus family, Luca and Isaiah. They make my life so full. Beautiful. Anita entered with the joy, "Me mommy is out of the hospital." Angelique is just grateful to be alive today. And Angelique, we're grateful you are alive today here with us. And John is feeling blessed that I could spend 12 days with my family in Nuevo Mexico, New Mexico. 2 celebrations today. We continue celebrating LGBTQ+ History Month. And how awesome it is that in a church we can say that. We know that there are many that will never say that, and that is their loss. If you'd like to celebrate LGBTQ+ History Month, you can type the number 1 in the comment box. See, that's the one thing we don't get on the Alluvial Ave campus. We can't do all those typing in the comment box. We also want to celebrate Filipino-American History Month. We think 2 of our beloveds, those who are not with us physically, but are with us in spirit as they watch from home, knowing that their health and mobility is compromised. We remember Glenda R., Pat M., Babs E., Rita T., who continues to recover from her surgery. Hi, Rita. Robin G., who continues in the gentle embrace of hospice care, and Robin's husband of 55 years, Ellis, is in the back. We're holding you all in our thoughts. Al G. and Bill N. And even if you do not know who these people are, I can tell you they are really remarkable, beautiful people, worthy of your love, and I hope on this day you will send it to them. This week continued to be a heartbreaking week for many in this city and across this country who knew Anna Richards, killed last week in an act of domestic violence against her. Yesterday we celebrated Anna's 38 years to short life, gathering friends and family. It was a grief-filled and also joy-filled morning as we celebrated this remarkable person who brought so much love, generosity, and kindness into the world, both as a friend, a family member, a remarkable preschool teacher, and the most amazing mom to 8-year-old Elliot, who we see there. This is Elliot and Anna in June when they were down in San Diego. That's the big picture. Elliot loves birds and parrots. And then from the big Fresno fair, that was the week that Anna died. Those are the last pictures of her and her son together. When I talked during the service, I sat down and talked with Elliot and was telling him how much his mom loved him. And he said, "Well, can I say something?" And I said, "Yes, Elliot." And he said, "My mom was the best mom that I could have ever had." And so in the service, Elliot lit this candle. We were in an auditorium, so we couldn't have real flames, so it was a battery-operated one. And so Elliot is not here today, but I light this candle for him and for his mom, Anna. We light too, as is our custom, this candle of community. We light it for all that's been shared, all that we hold in the sacred silence of our hearts. And we light it for all those who have no one to remember them with tenderness or care on this day. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. As is our custom, a sad custom it is, we light our second candle, or actually today our third, for the 4.8 citizens of the world who have lost their life in this pandemic. 741,000 of them citizens of this country. And so let us join our voices in our call to meditation, the meditation on breathing.
When I breathe in I'll breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe out love when I breathe in. I breathe in peace when I breathe out. I breathe down quando respiro, respiro paz cuando exhalo amor. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Cuando respiro paz. Cuando exhalo amor. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Cuando respiro paz. Cuando exhalo amor.
In the spirit of mindfulness and prayer. These words are offered as we hopefully enter the rainy season. They're offered as well because they come from the Celtic pagan tradition. And as we approach the sacred festival known as Samhain, celebrating the time of the year when the veil between the worlds of the living and the world of the dead is said to be at its thinnest and thus permeable, we share these words. Let us pray. May the blessing of rain be on you, the soft, sweet rain. May it fall upon your spirit so that small flowers may spring up and shed their sweetness in the air. May the blessing of the great rains be on you, to beat upon your spirit and wash it clean, and leave there many a shining pool where the blue of heaven shines, and sometimes a star. May the blessing of the earth be on you, the great round earth. May you ever have a kindly greeting for people as you're going along the roads. And now, may love bless you, and bless you kindly.
have risked in their relationships they've undertaken with us?
Hey, Floyd, could you start again? Because they just turned your mic on.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Do we realize how much we risk in each of our relationships? Or how much others have risked in their relationships they've undertaken with us? I don't mean that in a fearful or calculating way, like a interpersonal insurance adjuster or a relationship bookkeeper. More in the spirit of the idea that if we knew how much faith our relationships and commitments are comprised of, and how much faith others have placed in us, we would have a fuller appreciation of what each of our relationships mean. In establishing these relationships, we've all taken a leap, whether we realized it or not. A leap in allowing others to enter our lives and to see us every day as we are, vulnerable, scarred, frizzy, naked, sleepy, and flawed. We've taken a leap to let others hold us when we're falling, to lift us after we've hit the ground, after maybe they let us have a chance to sit there and gather ourselves for a moment. We've put trust in others to serve us in these ways with their best intentions and without any special training. We've taken a leap in letting others see our beauty, to share our triumphs, to enjoy our talents, and to acknowledge our grace, and in Unitarian Universalism, to uphold our inherent worth and dignity. For every way that we risk everything every day in allowing others into our lives, the people we exchange mutual love with have done the same for us. Often, when we go deeper, as we just did, and we do it together each Sunday, we're called to acknowledge times of joy, times of sorrow, times in which we've helped others, times in which others have helped us, and times in which we've acted unskillfully ourselves. I think in this beautiful, succinct list, we've touched upon such a dynamic method of seeing how each of our relationships is built on risks we've taken together. At times, it may also be an accounting of the price we paid for risks that we didn't take. We define ourselves as a community of faith. Our joining together on Sunday is an ever-present opportunity to join in stillness, reflect, calibrate, and reaffirm how we can continue to faithfully risk everything again and again, in earnest and with sincerity in how we relate with our loved ones, with our friends, with our community that we're a part of, with our nation, with our world, and with the environment that we all share, and strangers and people in need everywhere. We'll surely be broken in this endeavor, but that risk comes tempered with the faith that our loved ones and our community will do everything they can to help make us whole again. We risk a lot by showing up each day in this world to offer as many of our gifts as we have to share. But there are so many others who play roles in our lives, directly, indirectly, seen and unseen, for whom the stakes are a lot higher. We can honor their contribution by continuing to identify and take stock of the risks we've already taken, have gratitude for the risks others have taken on us, and to act on what risks we can afford to boldly take anew. Thank you.
We began our service today singing a golden oldie you hymn. Life Calls Us On is one of our newer Unitarian Universalist hymns, but it has fast become one of my favorite. Please rise and body your spirit. Let's sing joyfully. Life Calls Us On.
2, 3, 4, 6. Here in reverence now we gather, where the blessings we have known, with a pledge to one another, that we journey not alone. Joy and sorrow make us wise, kin to all that live and die. Lord, call us on. Lord, call us on. can hear you keep us strong. Lend our voices in the chorus of creation's living song. Courage bids us lift our eyes upward to the shining skies. Hope calls us on. Hope calls us on. Royal guides in love and beauty, lead us with a trusted light. Blessed are they whose inward beauty shows the path of truth and right. Honor is their earthly prize. By their work we realize faith calls us on. Faith calls us on. We now share a radiant hour when the truth has made us free, and the Spirit's gracious power dream of good that yet can be. Right the path before us lies. Joyful pilgrims now we rise. Life calls us on. Life calls us on.
Please be seated. I need roadies to set this all up. The song is ended, but as the songwriter wrote, the melody lingers on. The saddest words that anyone has ever sung are, "Lord, what might have been." My mom, who has been dead now for 13 years, called this time of year the song-interrupted season. When somebody would die, she would always say their song was interrupted. Late October is filled with so many remembrances of death and departed ones. We've got All Souls Day, then All Saints Day, El Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, Samhain, and Halloween. And so, for my mom who loved this season and the yellows and the oranges of this time of year, this season became the song-interrupted season. In the spirit of this song-interrupted season, I want to share with you the story of a jazz singer and a song interrupted. I do so with the warning that the story mentions death by suicide, which may be a trigger for some of us. I first heard jazz singer Suzanna Mccorkle about 35 years ago, at this time of year in mid-October, when I was working as a radio broadcaster and theater producer in Boston, Massachusetts. I can still remember the first song I heard her sing. It was called "The People That You Never Get to Love." The people that you never get to love. She sang of the human ache of living with lost potential. Her voice was smooth and caressing, but filled with this unmistakable sadness. It was as if the cumulative regret of the universe had found a simple, unadored, gentle doorway to cry through. Suzanna Mccorkle vibrated with the loss that we feel when we do not risk, as Floyd talked about, choosing life, when we do not risk making a connection with each other. Her voice so slowly swung through the sounds of the song. She sang of a chance encounter in a used bookstore. Now, we've all been in used bookstores. Some of us may have had a chance encounter there. But she sang of this bookstore. She sang of this two people seeing each other, and then a fleeting moment of missed opportunity. She sang about several different vignettes with missed moments of connection. And yet she somehow sang of so much more. These are the words she sang in that song. You're browsing in a second-hand bookstore, and you see him in nonfiction, V through Y. He looks up from World War II, and then you catch him catching you, catching his eye. So you quickly turn away your wishful stare, and you take a sudden interest in your shoes. If you only had the courage, but you don't, and he turns and leaves, and you both lose. Or you'll see him on a train that you've just missed, or at a bus stop where your bus will never stop. And you think about the people that you never get to love. It's not as if you even have a chance. So many worth a second life, but rarely do. Or you'll share an elevator, just you two, and you'll rise in total silence to the floor. Like the fool you are, you get off, and she leaves behind your life, behind a closing door. And you think about the people that you never get to love, the poem you intended to begin. The saddest words that anyone has ever said are, "Lord, what might have been." And you think about the people you never get to love. Now, Suzanna Mccorkle also sang songs about the people you do get to love. Her jazz repertoire included an astounding 3,000 songs known by heart, 200 of which she recorded on 17 albums. Her songs were by Cole Porter, George Gershwin, Irving Berlin, the songwriters of the great American songbook that I know some of us love so much. Her songs were also by more contemporary composers, at least at that time, 35 years ago. They were contemporaries such as Billy Strayhorn, Dave Frischberg, and Paul Simon. Her songs, too, were multicultural and reflected her love of Brazilian pop, and a performance of Suzanna's would most often include some Portuguese song lyrics. I wish you could have heard her sing. How do you describe this voice? There was no artifice, no spotlight on her personality. She simply served the melody and the lyric. Her voice was so light as it floated among the notes, yet weighed down with this palpable melancholy. She tended to hang back behind the beat, moving like a stealthy cat stalking her prey. Entering into a song with her was like waiting in the pause before the pounce. You quivered in anticipation, and then you were sprung into her sharp but luscious embrace. Suzanna Mccorkle was born on January 4th, 1946, in Berkeley, California, just a few hours from here. Her father, an anthropologist, took teaching positions at colleges around the country, and that was hard on her while she was growing up because she never felt like she belonged anywhere. She just kept moving. After high school, she enrolled at UC Berkeley, where she majored in Italian literature. Some of you may have been there at Berkeley at the same time, may have crossed paths with her. In the late 60s, disillusioned with American politics, and I wonder why, she dropped out of college and traveled to Europe studying languages and to begin a literary career. It was while living in Paris that she discovered American jazz for the first time when a friend played for her a recording of Billie Holiday singing "I've Got a Right to Sing the Blues." She was awestruck and inspired. She left Paris in 1972 and moved to London, where she began singing with the band. Before long, she was eking out a living performing in pubs. Jazz singing gave her a sense of belonging that had eluded her in her ordinary life. Before jazz, she said, I'd always been solitary and introverted. As a singer, I began meeting other people who were solitary and introverted, but who were also great jazz musicians. It was like finding my tribe. It was like finding my tribe. Sort of like when some of us stumbled upon this Unitarian Universalist church and discovered there were people who thought the way we did, and that there was a religion that was actually made up of people that think the way we do. Suzanna returned to the United States in the late 1970s, championed by music critics and disc jockeys. And for those who don't know what disc jockeys were, because everything is now digital, those were the people who actually played the records. I actually remember the very first time I played not a record on the radio, but a CD. And we were like, what are these little tiny things? But it was people like myself who played her music, and she was able to have a modest but successful career. But this public success came at a price, and you probably know where this story is going. You can tell this captivating melancholy of her music rose from the overwhelming melancholy of her life. She struggled with lifelong depression. Her internal pain was compounded by a diagnosis of cancer. Despite the support of her friends and her doctors, Suzanna believed that her pain had become too great for her to live with. On the early morning of May of 2001, she wrote a note, placed her will on her desk, walked over to the window of her 16th floor apartment on New York City's Upper West Side, and leapt to her death. For Suzanna Mccorkle and those who loved her, her song was tragically interrupted. The saddest words that anyone has ever sung are, "Lord, what might have been?" The saddest words that anyone might ever say, "What might have been?" Suzanna Mccorkle's death touched me deeply. It made me think about the songs that we all sing beneath the surface of our lives, the personal, painful songs sung only in the silent corners of our own heart, those isolated songs, the secret songs that separate one from another, the songs that keep us from belonging, the songs that keep us alone, the songs that keep us alone even when we have found our tribe. Her death made me think about all our different songs that have been interrupted in some way. The plans, the hopes, the dreams, the promises, and the loves in so many different forms. The songs that sing, Lord, what might have been? Today, some 20 years after her death, she makes me think about many things, but also how blessed we are at times to find human connection, when we claim human connection, when, as Floyd said, we really risk for a sense of belonging and true community. It reminds me how blessed we have been to have been led to this place, this spiritual sanctuary. Her death reminds me how fortunate we are to have this community, a spiritual community in which each of us can hope, heal, reflect, transform, love, learn, cry, grow, and sing our songs together. But being here takes a risk. It involves risk. Being here invites courage. Being here together needs participation. For unlike in Suzanna's song, a spiritual community is not a used bookstore where we can hide in the stacks and stare at our shoes and let another chance just walk away. This spiritual community challenges each of us to sing our songs, the public ones, and yes, the private ones. This is a place where we hope every voice will be heard, will choose to be heard, even when we might seem slightly off key. Let's together risk singing our songs. Let's together keep singing our songs, telling our stories, hearing our stories without interruption. Let not one of us feel so isolated that a window seems our only option. Let us truly risk being together. And dear ones, it's a risk that we are in the process of learning how to do together. We had 18 months where we were all virtual, and now we are in person and virtual, but as we say, we are one congregation. So how can we be community? Take the risk to get connected when we must mask, when some of us must social distance, and some of the most amazing people you will ever meet who are now part of this congregation, you're only going to meet on the virtual campus because they have not the ability to be here, either because of distance or because of life circumstance. So, dear ones, don't let these people around you become the people that you never get to love. Take the risk to reach out. Say hello to somebody you don't know, and I know if you look around right now, there's somebody here you don't know. And on our virtual campus, if each of you typed your names onto the chat box, I know there's at least one person there that you do not know. And then, don't just say hello, but relationships begin, friendships begin, love begins when we actually take the time to listen, when we actually take the time to share. In these last 18 months of pandemic, I've been stunned to see the depth of profound connections that many people have made on our virtual campus through Zoom spirituality groups, Zoom chalice circles, worked in another plug for chalice circles there, Zoom discussion groups, Zoom classes and workshops that I and others led. These opportunities are being offered right now, many on the virtual campus and some on our Alluvial Avenue campus. Will you grow, deepen, and change by risking relationship with new ideas, new experiences, and new people? Our website, uufresno.org, uufresno.org, for those on our virtual campus. We have links to adult programs that can help you to grow spiritually. And we're in the process of putting together an awesome winter-spring program that will include something I'm so excited about, a course on animals and religion and their spiritual significance. Don't let these people around you become the people that you never get to love. Despite all of our imperfection and unskillfulness, look and listen beneath the surface to hear the beautiful humanity just waiting to be discovered. This church can be more than a spectator sport where you come on Sunday morning to soak up some spirituality and uplift and then disappear into our week. If we wish it, this place can be so much more. Don't let these people around you, and take a moment, just look around you. Look around you. Virtual campus, you got to use your imagination, I know. Don't let these be the people that you never get to love. Take the risk to share. You have gifts inside you that are more worthy than you can even imagine. What part of yourself can you bring and share with the spiritual community that will uplift us all? Floyd gives through his worship leading and reflection. Hannah, you give through your singing voice. Stolen Thunder gives through their musicianship. Helen, Mark, Patricia, Ellis, and Nancy on our Alluvial Ave campus, and Joya on our virtual campus serve by being greeters, ushers, and hosts for us. And so many more serve gratefully in so many ways. In fact, Daniel, Deborah, and Margaret, who have never set foot on this church campus but found us virtually during the pandemic, they have just signed up to serve gratefully as the newest members of our annual pledge drive team. Dear ones, church is not a spectator sport. Don't let these people around us become the people that we never get to love. Take the risk to care. Help someone who needs you now. Help them to sing again their song. Don't let the people who are around us become the people that we never get to love. There are so many people beyond these walls who need to feel the warmth and the light of our Unitarian Universalist faith. There are so many people beyond these walls who need to feel the caring embrace of this, our church community, a church that proudly flies the Progress flag, Pride flag, and the Black Lives Matter flag. There are so many people beyond these walls. How can we share what we have found here? How can we tell others that there is a place where the inherent worth and dignity of each person is celebrated, where the preciousness of the interdependent web of all creation is named and valued, and where we join together to nurture our spirit and help heal the world in small but important ways? Dear ones, Unitarian Universalism is the best kept secret in the world. when we should be shouting our religious values from the rooftops. In this time when the future of democracy and the very future of our planet are at risk, tell a friend today that you have a church and a religion that will inspire them, help them hope again, help them work for justice. Tell them that you have a religion that will rock their world in all the right ways. Don't let the people around us become the people that we never get to love. How can we heed the call of our Unitarian Universalist faith to work for justice, to stand publicly and proudly on the side of love? In what way can our caring hearts and helping hands combine to do something for others beyond ourselves, communities different from our own, so that we act in ways that expand the boundaries of our compassion and risk to empower the broken to rebuild themselves and motivate the marginalized to move a bit closer to the center from which they have previously been pushed away? How can we make a difference in the lives of those who are different and yet not so different from our own? How can we sing our song so loudly and proudly that all the communities in the Central Valley will hear its sound? For dear ones, I believe there is a song within us that is so mighty it has the power to move mountains. There is a song among us so gentle it has the power to make all things new. There is a song beyond us so loving it has the power to renew the face of the earth. Let no one ever say of us, Lord, what might have been. Let our song not be interrupted, but as the songwriter writes, let our song sing forever on. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. No songs interrupted allowed here. Amen.
One, two, three, four.
You're browsing in a secondhand bookstore, and you see him in nonfiction, feet through wide. He looks up from World War II, and he catching you, catching his eye. So you quickly turn away your wistful stare and take a sudden interest in your shoes. If you only had the courage, but you don't, he turns and leaves and you both lose. And you think about the people that you'll never get to love. It's not as if you even had the chance. So many worth a second life, but rarely do you get a second glance until fate cuts in on your dance. And you'll see him on a train that you've just missed, at a bus stop where your bus will never stop, or in a passing Buick when you've just been pulled over by a traffic cop, or you're sharing an elevator, just you two, and rise in solemn silence to your floor. Like the fool you are, you get off, and he leaves your life behind a closing door. And you think about the people that you never get to love, that poem you intended to begin. The saddest words that anyone has ever said are, Lord, what might have been, but no one said you get to end. You're never gonna miss what you don't know, and you don't know who you'll meet at 3:30. It could be a total stranger who looks just a little bit like me. One of the people that you never get to love. One of the people that you never get to love. The people that you never get to love.
Hey again, I'm Floyd Sanchez, and I've been a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno since 2016. And since becoming a member, I've been involved with the church in different ways, including up here helping out with worship. It's been a complex year and a half for basically everyone on the planet, but also here in our church. Since beginning the pandemic, donations have essentially made it possible for our church to continue. A significant portion of those sustaining financial contributions came from individuals contributing above and beyond their pledge. Other donations came from people all across the country and the world who found our new dynamic online presence and digital sanctuary and were drawn to the message that was already familiar to those who were regulars in our Alluvial campus sanctuary. Since July, giving to the church on Sunday has dropped drastically, due in part to the fact that we're not physically passing a basket out of caution due to the virus. And giving from our virtual campus has gone away because for many of us, the sense is that the pandemic crisis has passed. The reality is that we will be facing a possible deficit of $20,000 if our Sunday giving doesn't return. This deficit would be crushing, given that our budget has already been reduced considerably due to the pandemic. Please, if Sunday services feed your spirit and nourish your soul, please contribute as you're able so that we can continue to bring you this message and sustain this sanctuary, both in our Alluvial campus and our virtual campus. In this spirit, please join in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Showing now is a slide that of different ways to make a financial contribution right now. And if you're on our Alluvial Avenue campus, you can always drop cash or a check into the basket on your way out of the sanctuary. We can't pass the basket, again, out of caution due to the pandemic and the virus. Thank you in advance for saying yes. May this church continue to be worthy of the many forms of your gifts. May those gifts allow us to continue to bring these Sunday services into your home each week. It really is great that we're all here this morning. Thank you all for joining our worship today, whether virtually or in person. I just want to express gratitude to everyone who continues to make all forms of our worship possible and acknowledge how beautiful it is that there are some members of our congregation that are able to be present now in ways that they were not able to before. As we prepare to end our service and enter into our afternoon, please join us in our chalice extinguishing words led by Karen and Troy.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
We
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
There's a wave for everybody in our virtual church campus. We hope to see you all next week. Tim, I believe you have some reminders and closing word. I believe you have some reminders before our closing words.
I do, Floyd. This is only the third time since June that I've had a worship associate live and in person. Everyone else has been joining from our virtual campus, and I got to say it was fun to just hang out with Floyd. Thank you, Floyd.
Thank you, Tim.
So I do have just a few reminders. I think first to let you know that, yes, thank you. I couldn't remember what I was supposed to remind you first. After church, social time here in the sanctuary. Also, I'm hoping that some chairs were set up outside in a circle near the kitchen there for a gathering for folks who want to have a chat outside. One of the best things about church is getting to know some people, and we're trying to figure out how to start that up again. So if you want to meet some folks, please stay here or outside. Also today at noon in the sanctuary, so that's about 10 minutes, great film that will touch your heart as well as stir your stomach. Iro dreams of sushi at noon in the sanctuary, then 6 p.m. on our virtual campus on Zoom. This is 6 today. I am so excited for our next slide. How many of you saw the extraordinary film Coco about Dia de los Muertos? Yes, we are going to be showing it live on campus. I'm sorry, virtual campus, but we're going to have a parking lot picnic beginning at 6, socially distanced. You bring your picnic, we eat, and then at 6:45, as it gets dark, we're going to show on a huge screen, well, maybe not huge, but really, really big screen, Coco with great, great sound. So all ages are welcome. We hope you'll come. Adeline is here. Adeline, could you stand for a second? Adeline is vice president of our board of trustees. Yay! And Adeline would have never forgiven me if I didn't mention that next week is our congregational meeting where I will present, you'll see the other side of Tim, the financial genius that I am. I'll be presenting the year-end financials so that you have a sense of where we were money-wise before we got in the problem that Floyd mentioned that began in July, but we were in pretty good shape at the end of June, and I get to tell you all about that and some other fun things as well, including an opportunity for you all to hopefully vote to put aside some money to do the painting of the campus that has not happened in 14 years. So that's next week. It'll be after the meeting here in the sanctuary, but also on our virtual campus. So you can participate on Zoom or participate in person, but we need a quorum, so you please do participate. How to exit the sanctuary? You want to just let the socially distanced people go past the collection basket, hint, hint. Nancy's pointing at it. Once they have left, all of you digging deep into your pockets for the collection basket, you can move this way and head out or stay in the sanctuary. If you brought your children and you do want to take them home with you, Ian, you want to pick them up at the religious exploration table in the breezeway. I think that is it, right? There's no more announcement slides. So let's have a drum roll as we put the spotlight back on Floyd for the closing words.
Thanks a lot. So at this time, please place your hand over your precious beating heart as I offer these closing words from Unitarian Universalist minister Cynthia Landrum, followed by our sung benediction. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other. Our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we are together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Amen. And please rise as we sing together.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love, go in peace.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.